And when Krishna felt satisfaction from eating Draupadi's offering, they also felt satisfaction and their hunger was gone. Because Durvasa and his men were unable to eat anything more, they went away without coming into the house of the Pandavas. In this way, the Pandavas were saved from the wrath of Durvasa. Duryodhana had sent them because he knew that since the Pandavas would not be able to receive such a large number, Durvasa would become angry and the Pandavas would be cursed. But Krishna saved them from this calamity by his trick and by his all-cognizant quality. It's a very nice story. Krishna is so concerned about his devotees' welfare that he used his all-cognizance to, because he knew what Duryodhana's plan was. Duryodhana was always trying to put the Pandavas into difficulty. And Durvasa Muni was a partial incarnation of Lord Śiva. Lord Śiva, one of his names is Ashutosh, which means he's very easily satisfied, but he's also very easily angered. So Durvasa had this mood like this. And so if Durvasa became angry at someone, he would curse them very strongly. This was his nature. And Duryodhana knew this, so he made some tricky arrangement to get Durvasa to curse the Pandavas. But Krishna was able to head him off because he knew exactly what was on the minds of all the players. Duryodhana, Shakuni, Durvasa, Durvasa's disciples, and so many more. So Krishna can do this. And Krishna also knows the state of the mind of all of his devotees at all times. Krishna says, I also know every living entity, but me, no one knows. Now, Krishna is unique. Krishna is unlimited. I mean, we can't imagine a state of mind in which it would be possible to understand the inner thoughts of every living entity. It's not possible. Not for us, anyway. For us, we can barely understand our own minds. And maybe one or two other people if we make a big effort. But Krishna can understand everybody perfectly, better than they know themselves. So when Krishna says, I know all living beings, but me, no one knows. We can't imagine, you know. It's just like we can't imagine even the view that a butterfly has. If you look at the eyes of a butterfly, they have many, many, many facets. They're looking in every direction at the same time. So we can't imagine what that would be like. You know, what would it be like to be able to see in 360 degrees? It's beyond our imagination. And this is just a simple insect. What to speak of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? We can't imagine what his vision would be like or what his intelligence would be like. But because of his transcendental qualities, he can understand all of us, every one of us, what we need, what we want, what we're doing, what our intention is, where we've been, our history, everything. He knows everything. He's all cognizant, remember? So he's within the hearts of all living entities as a super soul. And he is giving the life energy, prana. He's giving the memory, operating the mind. He's beating our hearts, digesting our food. So many things are going on without our conscious participation. Do you think that this is just a machine? If it was a machine, why can't the scientists duplicate it? They can't create life. They'll never be able to create life. Because life is only created by Krishna, by God. And when he creates life, he consciously, personally manifests this energy. That's super soul. That's the meaning of super soul. So within this soul is the supersoul. And within this body, and every cell and every atom of this body, is the supersoul. So Krishna is directly, personally cognizant of all of this. It's very, very amazing what Krishna is doing. So another quality, number 53, ever fresh. Krishna is always remembered, and his name is always chanted by millions of devotees. But the devotees never become saturated. Instead of becoming disinterested in thinking of Krishna and chanting his holy name, the devotees get newer and newer impetus to continue the process. Therefore, Krishna is ever fresh. Bhagavad-gītā, which was imparted 5,000 years ago, is still being read repeatedly by many, many men, and still new light is always found in it. Therefore, Krishna and his name, fame, qualities, and everything in relationship with him is ever fresh. All the queens of Dwarka were goddesses of fortune. It is said in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 1st Canto, 11th chapter, verse 33, that the goddesses of fortune are very fickle and restless, so no one can consistently captivate them. Thus, one's luck will always change sometime. Yet, the goddesses of fortune could not leave Krishna even for a moment when they were residing with him at Dwarka. This means that Krishna's attraction is ever fresh. Even the goddess of fortune cannot leave his company. It's nice, huh? Yeah. Regarding Krishna's attractive features being ever fresh, there is a statement by Radharani in the Lalita Madhava in which Krishna is compared to the greatest sculptor because he is expert in chiseling at the chastity of women. In other words, although chaste women may follow the rules and regulations of Vedic principles to become ever faithful to their husbands, Krishna is able to break their stone-like chastity with the chisel of his beauty. Most of the girlfriends of Krishna were married, but because Krishna was their friend before their marriages, they could not forget his attractive features, which were always fascinating to them, even after their marriages. So this is Krishna. Krishna's a little bit of a rascal sometimes. No, actually, he's the supreme rascal. But his ever fresh qualities are unforgettable. No one can, once they become close with Krishna, or once they become intimate with Krishna, no one can forget him. Because his qualities are unmatched by anyone else. So even though the gopis of Vrindavan, well, they later on became married to different gopas, they couldn't forget their friendship with Krishna because they had grown up with Krishna. They knew Krishna intimately. And even when they were very young, they wanted to be Krishna's wives. So although they wound up getting married to somebody else later on, they could never forget Krishna. And anytime Krishna would call them with his flute, they would come to him immediately. They'd just leave their husbands, leave their children, go out into the forest and dance with Krishna. No one can resist Krishna. Sometimes the husbands of the gopis would become jealous, and they would try to keep their wives from visiting with Krishna. So then the wives would appear to faint, and they would go to Krishna in a spiritual body. Because Krishna is irresistible. Krishna's qualities are ever fresh. And nobody in this material world can claim to be ever fresh. The appeal of any material relationship in this world is limited. But Krishna, he never becomes limited. And always newer and newer pastimes. You know, if we think that you know Krishna, if you think that you understand what Krishna is doing or what Krishna's intentions are, you will find that actually, no, you don't understand. Because in the meantime, Krishna has expanded and has more transcendental qualities and newer, fresh pastimes and songs and dances, always newer. Huh? Nobody can keep up with him. So try to understand. If even Krishna cannot understand his transcendental qualities. Huh? Because Krishna may understand his transcendental qualities at one moment, but then the next moment his transcendental qualities increase. So even Krishna can't keep up with his own transcendental qualities. This is the amazing position of Krishna. So who would not want Krishna for a lover? I mean, you can't say anything more about that. That's like, come on. So 54 is sac-cid-ānanda vigraha.